Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Erica. Welcome back to the El Cruco channel, and today I've got a quickie for you. This was a cheeky mini piece I did for On Board in 2025. It's called Absolutely Nautical. It's the changing face of the super yacht industry then in 1990 versus now in 2025. 30. Glad I'm sitting down. So once upon a time, being a yachty meant cigarette breaks on the bridge, ironing your shorts with whatever was hot, and asking, "What's Wi-Fi?" without a hint of irony. Fast forward 30 years and we've traded faxes for fibre optics, rum for reishi lattes, and crew nights out for crew wellness routines. In an industry that's evolved faster than a charter guest's mood, we take a tongue-in-cheek look at how things have changed. From Saint-Tropez to Starlink, from fax machines to fasting protocols, and from "yes, skipper" to "I'll check the APA and get back to you." So here's our then versus now rundown of yacht life, from the old school to the ultra-modern. Then, a pack of Marlboro Reds on the bridge. Now, a pocket vape with a dead battery. Then, "Yes, sir." Now, let me just WhatsApp the management company. Then, sending a fax to the marina office. Now, airdropping a meme to the guest's iPad by mistake. Then, explaining to your friends what a deckhand is. Now, explaining to your friends that Below Deck is not a documentary. Then, epaulets ironed with a beer can. Now, steamed, starched and tracked on the crew uniform app. Then, long crew nights out in St. Martin. Now, watching your screen time report in the Palmer laundrette. Then, air kissing the boss's girlfriend. Now, avoiding the boss's TikTok famous girlfriend. Then, a boozy lunch with a charter broker. Now, protein balls and a budget review on Zoom. Then, I just sort of fell into yachting. Now, I had a business plan, a vision board, and a LinkedIn strategy. Then, instant coffee and a crusty kettle. Now, oat milk flat white from a bean to cup in the crew mess from a machine that cost more than a week's deckhand salary. Then, white jeans, boat shoes, gold chains. Now, Lululemon joggers, trainers, mild anxiety. Then, walkie-talkies with dead batteries. Now, 3 iPhones, 2 Apple Watches, 1 brain cell. Then, paper charts and dividers. Now, Starlink, touchscreen nav and a captain with RSI. Then, radio silence during guest trips. Now, 5 crew WhatsApp groups and a burner phone for the boss. Then, guests who owned oil companies. Now, guests who own crypto and stress us all out. Then, dogs not allowed on board. Now, guest chihuahuas with custom life jackets and a PA. Then, take the tender out for a spin. Now, the owner would like the crew to row themselves ashore for the aesthetic. Then, what's a social media? Now, NDA plus a burner account to stalk the crew's private Instagrams. Then, a bottle of rum in the crew mess. Now, kombucha in the fridge and a silent retreat booked post-season. And then, fitness was running up and down the passerelle 15 times a day. Now, ice baths, breath work, HIIT, and trauma-informed Pilates with Claire. I hope you enjoyed that one. I enjoyed writing it. Please like, subscribe, give it a share, come and have a giggle. Don't take yourselves too seriously, I don't. And if you like more of my silly sense of humour and the way I do things, you can check out my book, Super Yacht Life. It's available now in various formats on Amazon. Look after each other out there. Love you, bye.